How would you like to achieve your first million? And today we have Mike Milan with us, better known as Cash Flow Mike. Is one of the nation's leading experts in cash flow and business financial strategy.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
With a track record of building 14 companies and training more than 25,000 business owners, bankers, and accountants, Mike has become a go-to rescue for anyone who wants to understand the numbers and grow with confidence. And he's also the creator of Clear Path to Cash Systems. So, Mike, tell us, what are the 5 steps that entrepreneurs need to do in order to sell the first million?
Hey, I've got to tell you, first of all, live from San your show, I knew this was going to happen. So I took the time to go ahead and those 5 steps. So the first thing is start with the end in mind, right? So that's with the end in mind. If I've never hit a target that I can set to begin with, and let's just say it's a million, let's go ahead and put it there. What does it look like to how long do we have to take it? It could be 6 months. I mean, it could be 5 years, but there's a end in mind and you have to visualize it. And I tell you what, Harry, money goal, right? Money is just a tool to do whatever it is you want to do next. And when I look at what I'm trying to do with this, I feel like I'm in the dream fulfillment business, right? Because everybody we talk to go to work. They want to actually do something past work. They want to do something instead of work. So what I try to do is help people get to their dream. And if it's a million, that helps us motivate it. So I want to start with the end in mind first. The second, build that profitable core, right? When we're talking about a profitable core, we're talking about, am I really solving a problem? And I look first at somebody's value proposition. By that is there's two distinct things in a value proposition. What's the promise that client and why should they get it from you? Those are two big questions you've got to ask of what I'm going to do. And here's why I think you should buy it from me rather than core, that you're pricing things right, you're covering your cost, you're fund, which is going back to the end, so we can fund the end. So all of these things have. So that's the first 2 steps. I mean, you want me to keep going, or you want to just kind of you've got some thoughts on?
Keep going
All
because
right,
it's looking amazing.
all
We
right,
have a great
good. All right.
start.
Next thing, the third step is master cash flow. It doesn't matter how much profit you have. I've had profit. If you've ever said this, if you run into business and go, hey, I'm making, if you've said that means you're making money on paper and you just never made it to the banking timing issue. So one of the things I want people to think about is the actual, right? How long does it take? So you can look at your business in two different ways. One is with activities, right? How does money actually get developed? We sell, then we spend the cash coming in vertically. And then you've got the horizontal piece. How long does it take to do that? How long does inventory sit on the shelf? Or how often do my customers pay me? Those type of things. So all of those have to work in. And I've developed techniques to help people either find where it's leaking, or one is mining your business for hidden cash. The other is the fast money formula, and it's all about optimization, right? So start with the end in mind, build a profitable core, and master cash flow. Is scale what works, drop what doesn't, right? Scale what works, drop what doesn't. An idea just because you're in love with it, right? Just if it's not working, you're just going to be throwing money at a problem that you're not solving for anybody. You've got to down and invest where you think it scales the fastest. So don't just be married to an idea. If it doesn't work, let it go, move on to something else. So I think maybe even on your podcast, you have to fail fast, right? Because other than that, it costs you money. So it costs less money. And then lastly, this is interesting. I said up front that I built 14 companies. Just because, doesn't mean the value or the $1 million you're going to make is going to come from sales. It could be from the value of the business itself. Whereas, I was in the beginning to make money, I flipped businesses. You've seen people flip real estate. You could do, And that's another way to get to $1 million. So don't just put it in your head. The only way I can get to $1 million, hey, I might be able to build a model that actually works that somebody else is willing to. So measure your value, not just the income that's coming in your business, because your first asset, not just earning the paycheck. What do you think?
Absolutely amazing, Mike. And you see, I'm your biggest fan. I'm already rooting for you even before starting this broadcast when I saw cash flow, Mike, because I'm a big fan. I think my first business was in property. And was a business that I was renting properties and then rented, turning into a single room and renting back again.
Yeah.
And it was a business that generated amazing cash flow, right? And this is when I found out the power of cash flow. Because let's face it, Mike, people out there investing, and everybody wants to make a big buck. Everybody wants to have a huge growth, and this is when mistake goes. Yeah, let me tell you the way I see property, right? For me, when I'm gonna buy a house, a flat, I don't care. This is my particular way how I see this. I don't care if it goes up in price or not. I don't care. If I can pay the mortgage and I have an extra £2,000 cash flow a month, which I actually have done this. So I've done it. So I know that it was so. So then, Mike, the who cares if the house goes up in price or not? Who cares if it's giving you that cash flow? But so why, Mike? Uh, I find very few people like you that are focusing on what is important in business, which is having cash flow, because this is why we reflect number one, the health of your business and how and the value of your business. You were talking about flipping businesses and purchasing business. This is what's gonna give real values in your business. So why I find few people like you? I would love to find more people. And then there are a lot of people out there that they talking about biggest capital growth, huge returns. You put this money and then you wait and whatever, and you will have X amount. And then it's the high risk goes involved. Then people lose all the money because they want to make 10x, 100x, and the whatever. Rather than maybe sit with you, have a simple formula, and we need money every month, right? To pay the bills, to buy food, to go on. So what was Mike enlightening? Why got lost in translation? What's going up with people out there? What's going on even with entrepreneurs out there that they see a shiny object and they go there, they're making a stupid decision, they lose the money. And whether more healthy would be to see someone like you with an incredible track record and put something that
Yeah.
actually is sustainable. I mean, if you make 5,000, 10,000, $20,000 a month, what else do you want in life? So tell me, Mike, what happened? What's going on with the people, with the
Wait,
entrepreneurs?
yeah. You know what's funny is that you mentioned it was lost in translation, right? So my was called "Don't Be a Dumb Business Owner."
There you go.
Right now, dumb doesn't mean to me. It doesn't mean that they're unintelligent. They don't understand my business, right? And I was that way. I was sitting at the kitchen table, just in the early 2000s, and I was struggling with cash flow. I mean, and you got to tell you, want to lose sleep, if you want to hurt your relationships, stop paying attention to cash, because that's everybody in your life mad at you, right? From employees to your wife to, so it's those things where I'm sitting at the kitchen table and I'm like going, how come I can't? I've got an MBA from Baylor University here in Texas. And I'm like going, I'm not just don't understand my business because I didn't understand this concept called the financial gap. I didn't understand is because I spent all of my time working in my business things, right? So my first business was a hotel staffing company. I was only worried about getting a contract so I could put labor into their hotel, making sure people showed up, sure people got, paid. I really wasn't paying attention to what I built. So things that we do, the thousands of things that we do on a daily or weekly basis, every once in a while you got to back and say, hey, what did that create? What was the result? So I this cause and effect chart. And I built it just to finally figure out the decision. What did it cause? But later on, I now use it to the decision. What am I going to cause, right? What can I expect next? And that's what I think people need to understand, that there is a consequence, or there is to make a financial decision. But I think you have to think through it first, right? Before you just act. We just get to where we have to act fast and just slow down. Unless it's a life or death issue, it's okay to take a beat and think about what you're doing before you make that step.
Mike, how you decide to become an entrepreneur? There is an entrepreneur in your family. How you end up in this business because yeah, I want to know.
All right. So, hey, I got to tell you, my first job out of college was not right. I was a state trooper. I was a police officer, and I did that for 7 years. I was a state trooper. I was just chasing bad guys, and I could see my whole life ahead of me. I'm going to do and retire just like everybody else that was in the state patrol with me. Well, my wife told me we were going to have our third daughter, and that's determined that your family can outgrow your income, right? I just had too many people to take care of. There's too many people in the family, right? So, and you got to say, and writing a student loan check for the master's degree, and I'm going to go, what am I doing? Why am I writing speeding tickets when I could actually be degree trying to do something that actually generates wealth for the family and takes care of us better? I did. I mean, I got to tell you, if you got people that are listening to this right now, they are scared to take that step. Maybe they don't know, but they think they want to be in business, but it's a really nice job that maybe pays them 50 or $100,000 a year. You're like, oh man, I don't know if I can do it. Hey, do it. You're scared. I was scared. It was scary the first couple of years. Now I'm in the position where I wouldn't go back to a job, right? I just would. You're probably the same thing. I would not go back to work for somebody else. I'd probably be the worst employee.
Welcome to the club. Yeah. I've been the last 18 years. You see, Mike, the other day I was reflecting that wow, I have been filling my own calendar the last 18 years. I don't know if this is good or bad, but I feel amazing about it. Yeah, and
Yeah.
look how my mind is away from reality. That in London the other day, a friend I dance salsa, and I was dancing salsa
Yeah.
with the community there in London in Hyde Park. We do that, and the guy from the dancing salsa community told me, Harry, I'm going to India. And I'm like, wow, man, yeah, I'm going to India to see my family. I'm like, he told me, I'm going for a week. I'm like, man, crazy? How come you're gonna go for a week? Stay a month or two. And the guy told me, Harry, the issue is that I only have 1 week holiday left. And and I when he told me this, I started to reflect how far I am away from that reality that we have that
Yeah.
because for me, if I'm traveling, I'm going for a month. You see, when I travel, that we go to speak in Singapore or Dubai or whatever, we don't go for the talk. We go a month early and a month after, just to have a little bit of holiday,
Yeah.
this, a little bit of the meeting after the event, and how about before the event or whatever. We find an excuse to go away from in Singapore. Every time that we go Mexico, Peru, every time that we to do these speaking tours, we there for a month or two, having
Yeah.
a speaking tour holiday kind of the thing. So, but Mike, it's sad. And the other thing I saw the other day, people again that were making very good money here in US, and they went on holiday, and they spent a lot of money in that holiday. And I'm like, guys, why you spend so much money on holiday? And they told me, Harry, we spend the whole year working, make good money. So for a month that we have holiday, it's better to go and blow it because
Mm.
we're gonna have the whole year again working
Yeah.
hard. So for 30 days that we have or for whatever. So the whole point, Mike, is that cash flow, become a business owner, having this step that you took, it changed your life forever in a way that you can provide more time to children, you can spend with them, and can provide well for your family. So the question is, why we have to wait until a situation gets really against the world to take the decision that is going to change our life. Because for me, I was working as a bartender in London. Then my dad took cancer. I couldn't go and see him. I was broke. I didn't have any money. So I promised to myself that I never would be in this situation again. And there I lived
Mhm.
property, and I started the business just the next day. But it was that who gave me the big push. So you are an entrepreneur. I know that since you're a state trooper, you have it on your genes. Even if you're working there, you know that you could do better. You just going with your colleagues, going alone. You know that you can become your own boss. It was already inside your genes. It's not genetic. It's not inherited. All of us, every single the 500 multimillionaires that we have interviewed in this podcast, we all have this inside us. But always, Mike, when I ask this question to previous interviews, always there is an event that will take. That's it. I'm gonna go for it, whatever it takes, and it's risky and it's scary, but it's in the
Yeah.
why, Mike? Why at least you and I and a lot of people in this interview, in order to become really who they really are and what they want to be, sometimes that incident, sometimes the day your life is the best day of your life, and how many good entrepreneurs we have lost because life was playing for them and they play safe, and that's it. And now they die without fulfilling the dreams.
Yeah. You know what's really interesting is that when I left the house, the secure job, secure money, it wasn't easy, right? It
It's a
struggled,
big
and what
risk.
kept
It's a huge risk. What your family told you,
huge risk. Yeah.
dad, friends, they told you crazy.
I burnt my savings, maxed out my credit cards. I mean, I was doing everything to go in. You know, this is the 1900s, right? Back in the 1900s, 1999. What kept me going was the fear of being embarrassed if I had to go back to the, right? Because after I told people, I said, I'm going to make it. I'm going to do something with myself. I'm getting out of here. Back. That to me was scarier than actually going through the motions of the first couple of years. It was tough because you was on the
Welcome to
fly,
the
right?
club for everybody. Because
Yes,
we don't know what we're
but
doing. We just need to learn, right?
during that time, I'm like going, oh my gosh, I celebrated, and this is going to sound weird, but word nobody. I celebrated nobody, and here's what I mean by that. Nobody told me that I couldn't do it. Nobody told me, what to do. It was just me the battle myself at that point in time, and I had mentors and I had people that kind of, guided me through some, but you have to embrace the fact that you now have autonomy. And what my mindset shift was is that I'm going to build style friendly business because I started to like getting to the office when I was ready to, going on a holiday when I wanted to, or taking a trip here, or pulling the computer
It's amazing, Mike.
and working by the pool.
It's
Yeah. So I mean, just
amazing. It's amazing.
yeah.
It's
Once you
priceless.
nothing else matters anymore. You're like, I'm actually supporting the lifestyle I want to live.
Yeah, but let's talk about these first 2 years because I have them.
Yep.
And we all have been there because now, for example, now if I ask you the question, Mike, is it easy to make money with me? Harvey, it's very easy to make money. I just make a couple of phone calls, I flip a business. For me, it's easy to make money. Yeah, it's easy now because you have the knowledge, you have expertise, and you have this skill to become a good entrepreneur that gave you these first 2 years or 4 years or two. The first 2 years for me was exactly 2 years that was wearing all the hats, and I was just me. I didn't know anything. I become entrepreneur. I did by accident. Just me. I started with the
Yeah.
property. The thing started to make money, and that's it. I was in business. I was not even knew, not even what marketing was. I find out after 2 years what marketing actually means. I didn't have a clue. Somebody told me about a year ago, do you know that you need to file tax? I'm like, tax? Yeah, you need an accountant. Yeah, you need that thing. So
Yeah.
things like this, I was figured out. I was focused only again in sales to make sure that I can sell the product, so I can pay the landlords, and whole thing appeared. And I always said that become an entrepreneur good is a skill, that is developing a skill. The more you practice, the better you become. These 2 years is like you learning how to ride the bicycle. So One, how do you battle in your negative emotions in these 2 years? That when things doesn't work, when you start in a business, because nobody knows you, the supplier want to charge you more, nobody knows you, the client want to pay you less, nobody knows you, it's tough to find the first client. You get these 2 years are tough because you are all alone and all you're getting is negativity and things not working for your business and things, and then you will call your family and friends, they're telling you, I told you, you crazy, go back to your job, what are you doing? So you're kind of alone, taking so much pressure from all the fronts. And now you have your family, your kids, your dad. Then you go to your house and you have your daughters, and now you have one more. The children. Now you're gonna have one more.
Yeah.
So how you cope with that pressure?
First of all, I think I was in a very unique position, right? Because my first job was a state trooper alone anyway. And talking to people I didn't know, that's all I did every day. So
And
all I
discipline,
did was, yeah,
discipline, discipline also comes with that as well, right? Which is very
yeah,
positive.
right. I mean, I looked at it as when I got into business, I'm like going, yeah, it's hard because it's new. It's not hard because it's harder than what I just did. Pulling somebody over in the morning on a dark road is a lot harder than asking somebody to buy.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's like, look, like what am I scared of? I'll then ask this person to buy my stuff. And I had the opposite problem the first. Mine wasn't about sales because I got kind of addicted to that. Like going, oh, I just got to walk in here and get somebody to buy. I'm like, oh, I liked that part of it, right? I did. My problem was growing too fast, and I experienced a phenomenon called broke, right? And let me explain. I actually opened an offices in 9 states in 3 years and had a couple
Oh
hundred people
my
working every
God!
day, right?
Wow, this is
Because
fast.
that's what it was just easy, right? I'm like going, hey, I just go out there and I sell, and whoever wants to do the business, right? I had found a formula. I had found a couple of things that worked. I joined the hotel associations because I was selling hotel businesses. I was a natural inside a room, right? I just go in and I could talk to anybody and get business. Problem. I didn't realize early on that Marriott paid their bills in like days, right? Well, guess what? I got to do every 2 weeks: payroll, payroll,
Hmm.
payroll, payroll. And it was a whole different type of pressure, right? It wasn't like
Yeah,
I was somebody on the side of the road. It was a pressure of, oh my God, there's 100 families counting on me checks. That was a whole different level of stress that you bring to yourself. I had to
yeah,
figure out the timing of money real fast. Yeah, and I went to Marriott. And you're using my staff like your own, right? Because it was like you're using my staff like your own. So if you hired these folks, you would have to make the payment like I'm doing. Now, I realize that that's one of the reasons you outsource is you don't have to make the payment. But can we tighten it up a little bit? Not 90 days. And I
hmm,
said, stop, treating my invoices like they're paper towels. These are people, right? Treat it like
exactly.
payroll. Marriott, the accounting department says, yeah, we don't want to hurt your business. So they started paying me in about 45 days and the whole world changed. I had more money. I don't 3 payrolls instead of 6, and everything changed. And that's where I learned that gap. It's the difference between money coming in and money going out. You have to have enough cash,
Cash
access to
flow.
cash and a line, yeah, cash flow to cover that time period, right? You have to time period is that financial gap. And the smaller you can make the gap, the less money it takes to run. So that's what I'm focused on right now. And that's how I got the nickname Cash Flow Mike, because I stopped it a long time ago. Profit is just the result, right? It does
Glad,
my business model.
I'm
Cash
glad,
is
my
what proves if you're doing well.
absolutely. And then, Mike, I'm glad that you talk about scaling up because I want to ask you more question about it because one thing is to have a business, right? And to like, for example, for me, when I did the first 7 houses, I was doing everything by myself, right? So
Hmm.
and I was making a lot of money actually. It was very profitable. Every was giving, I remember, around 1,500 to 2,000 pound cash flow a month. So imagine, you see, and I had 7 of those ones. Yeah, and taking back
Yeah.
of the day before Airbnb, I used to have hair back then. So a long time ago, 17 years ago. So it, the but then when you expand, you're thinking, okay, you know what? I'm gonna get the double of houses, and I'm gonna make double the money. And without knowing that from be a solo entrepreneur to actually scaling up, it's like, Mike, you have to forget everything you know and to relearn everything new things. It's totally different thing. I'm Harry, these, even with these 7 houses, everything doing yourself, you have a small mess. I'm thinking, if I expand this, what I'm going to expand is a big mess.
Yeah.
And then I started expansion doing this way too fast, saying like you were saying. And I remember days, Mike, that I had to go to the office and smile and say, "How are you doing, guys?" And we're talking about now large operation with 177 tenants. We're talking about a lot of properties that I'm responsible for gas, water, that they can sleep heat because it's in London, so it's cold. 177 people that I had to provide everything they need to sleep, and these people need to be paid. Landlord had to be paid. Everybody had to be paid. I'm way too fast, and I have £10 in the bank account, and I had to show up into the office, smiling and say to the thing, everything, how everything is okay. Come on, guys, let's rent the room. And usually it used to be 2 3 days, but oh my God, it was so hard for me because with who I talk, I didn't knew you. I knew today. I wish that I kind of made you like when I was in this situation. At least I can talk to someone and said, "Man, you won't believe what happened." And somebody tell me, "Harry, we'll be fine. 2 3 months to see somebody's paying late. This is cash flow done because it was done." I realized after I spent, I took the houses, everything started to work, and then I'm probably this thing with this cash flow thing and it was happening every month. It was already built, it was already thing, and by the time I realized that I cannot take more houses until this thing, it was already there. I was already in the middle of this thing, and oh my God, it was so tough, and I didn't know anybody
Yeah. And what some
that I
people
can
do
talk to.
is they'll start selling the houses off to get money, right? And then all of a sudden you're hurting more cash because you're selling the asset that actually produces the cash. It's like it's a that's to happen.
Yeah, so being there, I get you 100%. The other, so Mike, what message that do you have for the solo entrepreneurs that want to expand the business? And we're not gonna say that that they they are having this assumption because nobody taught us that okay, you know what, expanding is easy. I'm gonna duplicate and I'm gonna make double the money without knowing that. Hold on 1 second. When you start to employ people, when you have more volume, you're gonna have the problem that you have with this you have now, plus the problem of the expansion, plus the problem that this whole animal brings together that was not even counting on that. That you expand is not just double problem. No, no, no. You have this problem, you double it, but then more problem because these two entities combined generate more problem that didn't exist for you.
Yeah.
So, what
Yeah.
message do you have for scaling up solo entrepreneurs?
Yes. So I want to go back to your 10 pounds in the bank, right? And what went through my mind. You've got 10 pounds in that show, and everybody around you thinks you're rich. That's the crazy thing. They're like going, he's the owner. He's got more money than all of us.
No,
And
they
truth
see all
is,
the houses, they see all the rent, so they know that if I'm taking houses too fast, we were taking the houses and then we need to invest in order to paint them, redecorate it, and everything. Then if they stay empty, maybe
yeah.
for the period of time until they get rented. So all this gap, cash flow, I'm not receiving that rent, so there's a huge gap. And if you take 3 or 4 very quickly, I didn't know that. How I remember what I described to you as a solo entrepreneur. I'm focusing sales. When you start in your business, solo entrepreneur, you depend on the client. If you don't
All
sell,
right.
you don't
So,
have a business. So I'm still focusing in sales. You see, okay, we have to sell, we have to sell, we have to sell, and I'm like, man, I'm selling. How come there's no cash flow here? I
make
just
any
don't get
money.
what's going on. So I shouldn't be focused only
Yeah.
in selling now. So Mike, nobody,
All right. So,
it's hard time, right?
yeah. So, a couple of different direct message. I mean, there's a such thing as nail it and then your business model works first. Meaning, if I buy this or get, can I make money and scale it as you go a little slowly at first and and upscaling, but you have to nail the business model first. Some people just say, I can sell, like, right? I went out there and go, I can sell anything. Just go sell, 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 sell. Well, hiring the management, then you got to open the offices, payroll, and then you got to pay taxes, and you got all this other stuff comes after the sale. And I wasn't prepared, right? So the one thing I learned is that that's it. I mean, I would get outside of everything, like going, what if the government rules? What if who knows, anything that can disrupt what you're really trying to do. So control what you can control, and then right? Know your business model first before you try to scale.
Flipping business, something that you talked, and I love it, Mike, because that's the other thing that happened as an entrepreneur at the beginning of the career, that you get so emotionally attached to the business, right? That you think that this is going to be your lifeline. This is going to be there forever. It outlasts you. It will solve all your problem. And a common mistake that I see in entrepreneurs, which I also done as well, that, the businesses grow, you reinvest in the business is growing, you reinvest in the business is growing, you reinvest in the business. Guess what happened? COVID happened, market change happened, Airbnb came along, anything can happen. And now, all gone. Without Mike, more sustainable would be, for example, if somebody have a very good business, like a generating cash flow, but maybe using this cash flow, for example, you buy a property, right? And then with this cash flow extra the property give you, you use this money for marketing for your own business because you do have an asset, or buy another business that complements the business you're already in. So to diversify the risk, because I think, Mike, that entrepreneurs out there that they're in business, they're not aware of that being in business, right? Anything can happen, sometimes out of your control. Somebody changed the law, somebody, new policy. Look now with the tariff, a lot of people with Amazon business, how do you know what I'm going to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anything. And so, Mike, why in order to generate a sustainable cash flow, I would say ecosystem, rather than put all your eggs in the basket, which is actually most of entrepreneurs what they do out there, they make a lot of money and say, okay, I'm putting it in the business. Yeah, but how you can put it in the business? Because you can generate some assets. If something happened to this business, at least you have some source of income. Because this might, from this podcast, we want all the entrepreneurs to be like you, healthy, wealthy, and happy, and have freedom on the lifetime. I think we take more risks than anybody out there. I think that we have more responsibility out there because we are responsible for employees. We're responsible for some type of food that goes to the table to the family. So we deserve to be happy. We deserve to be healthy. We deserve to be to have the lifestyle that one, right? So, but at the same time, just for this tiny mistake that you don't know any better, and you take out your money and then you put in the business, you something happen, you get out of business, all your life work can disappear, and then you have to start all over again. Not that it's difficult because everything is in your mind and you can do it again. But Mike, how can we help the entrepreneurs to generate a 360 cash flow with Mike, more holistic, more holistic, I mean, more risk adverse than what entrepreneurs are doing out there?
Yeah, you know what's interesting about you're talking about, taking a chance and what happens if I make a mistake, or what happens if COVID hits. I mean, there's all kinds of things that can disrupt your business and you don't have any control over it. One of the first things I do with teaching advisors or teaching entrepreneurs is 3 to 6 months operating expense in cash. All right, 3 to 6 months. So if you're spending 10 just to keep the doors open, right? I mean, pay your rent, pay the utilities, pay $30,000 to $60,000. And the reason I say that is that 3 to 6 months time, right? When you make a mistake, you want time to be able to recover from it. When a hurricane comes through, you got 3 to 6 months that you can still stay open while you're trying to figure out. Really, what trying to minimize risk, you're really buying extra time. The new situation. Bill Gates, you keep 1 year for all employees in cash.
Wow. Wow.
And it was for that reason. If I made a mistake, if I made a decision that cost the company, I didn't want their job because I made a business decision. So he always had 1 year's worth of salary in reserve, so employees wouldn't be impacted as much.
Wow. You see, that's very well planned because that's happening in business. That's what happened in business, Mike, that sometimes situation change overnight, and if the company cannot respond to change quickly, then they can be in the situation that you go out of business in
Yeah.
a heartbeat, and you don't even realize what happened. Everything happens so fast, and I can you see how you the strength, right? Because I think in my life as an entrepreneur, I had to reinvent myself so many times. Yeah. Last company in this speakers and leaders that we are all over the world with literally thousands of people waiting for us for the conference in every country. And
Yeah.
COVID came. I'm like, this is ridiculous. This business is all about to go to the stage and speak in front of thousands of people
That's right.
in different countries. So what's gonna happen with this business? You know, I mean, there is I have nothing to. I'm like, did I do anything wrong? What? So something goes out of your control, and there you are cutting the meal, and you have to pivot, have to even learn this thing. You know, I didn't even know what Zoom means, and look, now we do even the podcast. So it's amazing how the outside element can actually change your change the business. So, Mike, coming back to cash flow and optimizing and flipping business, um, you business is to a vehicle to provide a good lifestyle for your family, for the people that you love. Yeah, I remember once my mom was sick so bad that I had to take a plane from London, go to Cuba, take it out of there because the medical facility there was not enough to get the cure. Bottom line, I spent traveling a year to save my mom's life and asking, finding the best doctors, and that incurred me huge, large amount of and time. I couldn't work for a year, but back then, you know what happened? My property business kind of running autopilot. Actually, my manager, well, I arrived to my manager. I arrived one day to the office and he told me, Harry, go home. We don't need you here anymore. In fact, the only problem in this company is you. I'm like, me? Yeah, you come here, you talk to us, you have nothing to do. Stay home, try the work. Don't come here. We know how to grow it. I'm like, you don't need paper in the photocopy. So they told me, we can get our own paper in the photocopy. Just stay away because you come here and I don't know what you do because, you know, you're talking to us. We're busy here in the company. So somehow happened kind of by accident that I turned into leaders. And I was so happy, Mike. That's a big thing that happened. I had to hire people. They were better than me and everything. I was so happy. I was telling people, you won't believe you sales people, they selling this. It's taking me a week. They do it in a day. And I'm renting for 600, they're renting for 700. I don't know how this gets. I'm like, guess how you do this? So uh, they were so good, literally better than me at everything. If there was no position in the company that I could beat them, and but I started give them this confidence that okay, guys, you take your own decisions. You know, I'm one of you guys. You know, yeah, I created the company, but you're doing this even better than me. So yeah, you want my opinion, give it to me. But better that you guys, you know, take your own decisions. You have a manager, in charge of the business, and then I remember she was coming to see me once a month for 2 hours to tell me what she was doing with my business because she was informing me. It's not like Harry, look, what do you think? No, Harry, look, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. We're hiring more people, we're taking this. Wow. So she was she was with me. She was actually telling me what she was doing. I'm like, this is amazing. I can't believe that I put this up. So Mike, when you make that work, I realized that I don't need to be this ego guy that I'm the big boss. I need to go to the office. Everybody has to do what I say. I'm not the big deal here. I was more happy in the position than I was, which I said, I can't believe that I create something that gives job to a group of people that are happy. They even feeling happy running the company. I'm even more happy because I don't have to go, I don't have to do anything. I worked for 2 years very hard, and you know that because you've done it and you know how tough it is. So I need some mental health and and, and, and rest, which actually didn't happen. I went straight because I was bored and I didn't know how to deal with success. I opened a restaurant, I got 200,000, but this is another story for another day. So,
Okay.
Mike, how you deal with success? Because everybody talk about how to deal with failure, but now that you're sitting at home, that you have that you have all this wealth and all this for your family, yeah, is is keep it. It's difficult to don't get out of your head and stay disciplined. We all know that we are all taking decisions all the time, most of them, but you know that you cannot jeopardize all the work that you have done because the freedom at the level that you reach with your where you are, there is no way back. Yeah, and sometimes I did sabotage myself because I didn't know how to deal with success. I thought I was wrong that I was sitting at home. I enjoy my success and travel the world. I thought that was wrong. I thought that all I know how to work hard. And you know what? I need to find a tough business that I have to work hard in order to make it. And and this is what I did, and it was total disaster. I didn't know how to deal with success, and that's the truth.
Yeah. So, I mean, the question you asked me is how do we with success? And I tell you, me 20 years, right? Because, when you talked about I was a state trooper. I was also, did some military. There was a bit of what I had accomplished. And I think it held me back. I think that I stood in the way more than anybody, right? It was me that was the biggest out. When I've started now, I need a comfortable car that just runs. You know, if there's something that I can afford. Uh,
Nothing is stupid.
dress, yeah, I don't want to dress anything other than what I am. And I started being authentically me and stop worrying about, oh, he's
100%.
polished or he
I
doesn't,
love it.
do those type of things. When I started being me,
Hmm.
I'm happier, and actually money is piled up. I still have the adverse effect to debt. I don't like debt, so I'll use debt strategically and then pay it off as quick as I can because I don't want to be strapped to it. I'd rather have cash to do what I want when I want.
The truth is, Mike, that you don't have to prove anything to anybody anymore.
I don't, and
And I don't
yeah,
have to prove anything to anybody anymore. And when you're from that space, you become unstoppable in this podcast.
yeah,
you
there you go.
you become the name of the podcast for a reason.
That's right.
But it has to come from there, like becoming who you really are, and then you don't know how to prove anything to anybody anymore, and you have one space of looking after your family, looking after entrepreneurs, helping them out. The people that you're helping them, that you're coaching, they don't even know the value that you bring. The only person
No.
that know that is making a huge difference for them is actually you because you've been there and you know what is coming. And unfortunately, they don't know. They don't
Yeah,
know, and they need to be there in order to know. And I anything for anybody in this kind of expansion go out of cash flow because it can affect your mental health. Some people give a heart attack. Some people jump out of the bridge. There is,
yeah.
yeah, it's tough to deal with this thing when you have everybody depending on you and you need to show up in your office.
Was
You have
it,
to pay salaries, bills, and everything, and only you know what is actually happening, and it's so much pressure that would be amazing to have someone like you in during this process. So, Mike, if somebody's in love with this conversation, how people can find you, how this process works, where they can find the book. Trust your book again. Tell us
yeah,
when can buy the book.
sure. Yeah. So the books. One, don't tell me what to do, or I'm sorry, don't be a dumb business owner. Amazon, the same with the other ones, right? So I got the 7 minute conversation, which is how to analyze financial 7 minutes or less. And my new book is Don't Tell Me What to Do. And this is how to have better financial conversations with your team or with your clients or otherwise. So the talk about and point people towards is a free resource. Go to cashflowmike.com. It's about as get cashflowmike.com. Right underneath the header video is a free video lesson. You get a digital copy of the book, The 7-Minute Conversation. You get the video course, some spreadsheets to help you do the calculations, but it will teach you at least the basics of using and see more about your company in 7 minutes or less. And I call it the home system because it touches all the bases, the income statement, the balance sheet, and the cash flow statement all at once. You get to see all of them at play and how they interconnect. So I really appreciate your time. This is I'm new to you and your podcast, but I'm a fan. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. And I'm a big fan. And like I said, I know this, like I told you when we started, I'm rooting from you because people don't, we don't cash flow as we should be looking because we are all in a learning process. But it's this cash flow will dictate your freedom. It's going to be this cash flow that will dictate your lifestyle. It's this cash flow what dictate the speed that if you don't master how to keep it consistent, you can put the whole business. I'm glad. Yeah, I wish that I find more people like you, expert and keep doing what you do. I'm very proud of you. And I only know the big difference that you're doing with the people that you're helping, because being there, they are learning the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I know you can someone's life, maybe a family, maybe a father like you.
Yeah, there you go.
That are running a business and they are stuck in this rat race, and they go Monday to Sunday. They cannot even go and spend time with the children. And you go there, you coach them, you spend time with them, you give them a few process. Not because you're smarter than anybody, it's because you don't it. And you have practice and you see him. So, and then you can change the life of this person. Can you imagine how powerful it is? How people that I find on the street, they've been on my conference and they say, Harry, look, this is my family are doing amazing. I listen to you in that event and man, you changed my life. They stop me sometimes in the street in London. It's quite embarrassing sometimes. And they take a picture like this and that. And sometimes I reach home and say, amazing that this person, I say something, I don't remember in which pen, and he took it on board and made a huge difference for his life. Amazing. So this you get paid in another currency better than money. Pay in love and appreciation. So thank you so much, Mike. And for all of you, once again, following the broadcast, you know, our next episode, I'm going to stop how brave entrepreneur Mike break that and achieve the best me. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.